Hi everyone, it's Sabrina. I'm here with our final pre-production sample box of Diatoms. I'm really excited to show you what's inside. I can't wait for you to see. This is very close to what you'll be getting in the mail. Let's dive in. So this is the new box cover. You can see that there is a really distinct rainbow shimmer on the top. On the sides, it's still shiny, but there's no actual hollow foil effect, not like on the front. There's also a gold foil on the front as well for all these gold details. Let me show you the other box, the old one. Here's the old one. The gold is more pronounced, but the shimmer on the diatoms themselves is pretty subtle. It is visible, but it's very subtle. Whereas on this one, as you walk by it, as it shifts in the light, you can really see that there's a rainbow shimmer across the front. So that's what you'll be getting for the box cover. Let's take a look inside. Okay, so here we are with the rule book. The rule book's largely the same. We did up the paper weight a little bit, so it feels a little more substantial. We did a lot of behind the scenes editing on the rule book, so it now is in InDesign. It's going to make it easier for us to do the digital translation copies, a few minor formatting updates to this layout, but for the most part, it's the same. Here's the careers rulebook for the solo play. This is, again, an updated paperweight, but a different kind of paper. And this paper is much more writer friendly. So if you are keeping a log of your career plays in the book itself, it's easier to write on. Here's the next component. It's the player slide boards. If you remember, the last sample we got had an issue with the player slide boards because of the way we did the 2 layers, the dual layer material, where the boards were, they had a lot of bend and warp to them. There was also some issues with the surface print. We did these outlines on the slots on the 4 lines of symmetry, and just because of the limitations of the precision of the print, that ended up really clipping in some noticeable ways. So you can see the difference now of the 2 different versions. Also, we did a matte, we changed this to more of a matte finish, so it's less shiny and reflective on the sideboard, and it just looks a lot cleaner. It's really great precision, and it's so straight and flat. They feel really hefty and high quality because of the thickness, and they lay so flat. So these look really good and they feel really good. Very happy with those. I guess let's just look at the diatom tiles because they're right here. Now these are the diatom tiles with the shimmer. This shimmer is so, it's almost like they're luminescing, like they're glowing. It's very similar to our prototype tiles. Let me get some to show you the comparison. Okay, so here's our prototype tiles. You can see that the print's a little bit grayer, and there's an overall gloss on these tiles, which sometimes makes them a little hard to read at different perspectives, but it has an iridescent shimmer. These have a different kind of shimmer. It's almost like a sheen, but it's very similar when you get up close and you just sort of tilt them. You can see that it's a very similar effect, but the print is actually more opaque, and you can see really good precision on the cutout. These are small pieces, so it's pushing the limits of the precision of doing the punch outs, but they look really nice. I think the yellow the print is definitely more visible and clear at all angles with the production tile. They feel almost like satiny. And like I said, on the table, they have this almost luminescent effect, and they look lovely on your slide board and slot in so satisfyingly. I think the satin effect, the satin iridescent effect, complements really nicely with the matte slide boards. So these are just really lovely, very classy. They look different than the wooden tiles. Let me just show you a comparison of the punchboard tiles and the wooden tiles, because a lot of you got the wooden tiles. The punchboard tiles are shiny across the whole surface, and the wooden tiles are shiny across the center, and they're almost dual tone, really, because the foiled area is a little bit darker. They're both really nice with a slightly different aesthetic. You can pick one or the other, or you can combo them and play with an abundance of diatom tiles, as I showed in a previous video. It is possible to fit all the wooden tiles in with your punchboard tiles and store them that way. Let's see. I'll take these out so you can just see. We're going to slowly reveal the beautiful insert. Okay, I'll show you the judging sheets. 50 sheets printed front and back. No changes to this. I actually snuck into my copy these golf pencils. These don't come in the box, but there is room to have a set of golf pencils in your box on your insert if you want to do so. That's what I was testing out. I think it's a nice way to have the writing implements in the box. Here's the judge cards. The difference here is that we shifted from a straight green and red, which runs into color blindness issues, to this muted green and a light pink, which actually is easier to differentiate for color blindness. We also added a different treatment to the cameo. There's a spiky treatment for the persnickety judge side and a gentle scallop treatment for the easygoing judge side. A little bit of cleanup of this graphic design, but overall these are very similar to the ones from the previous sample, and they look and feel great. Then we have the lens tool and the ribbon. Now the lens tool, this version of the lens tool is very similar to the old version, but you can see that we increased the amount of gold foiling. We brought it to the edge to make it look more holistically like a wood lens with a gold inlay across the whole surface. So that looks really nice. Only one side of this is foiled, the other side is a print. The ribbon is the same as the previous version. Now we have the field notes. You'll recall in the previous version, if you watched that tour, that these were actually printed, the pages are printed in the wrong order. We fixed that, and also we've made the paperweight a little bit heavier in this version. It feels really good. I'll show you what's inside. There's the front page is a reference on collecting your diatom species based on your sample, and then there's a entry for each of the judging criterias, the matching colors, the symmetry, and the rings. There are a couple of very small typos in here that we have already adjusted for the final print. This last page is a little background on diatoms. Every player has their own copy, so when you're waiting your turn, especially in your first game, you can reference this to understand how the scoring works and get a little insight into diatoms and diatom mosaics. You can start to see the updated portion of the insert be revealed. Look at those water tiles just nicely sitting there. But first, before we look at those, we'll take out the commission cards. For these, the changes were, we had 2 blank spaces in the sheet for the card print, so we did add a cover card, which just introduces the idea of commissions, which is the solo play, and we also added a reference card for the symbols and commissions. Here's all the commission cards. We increased the quality of this cardstock a little bit. They feel great, the finish is great. I won't go through all of them because I don't want to show all the commissions in this video, so you can be, if you choose, surprised as to what the commissions are and how they advance as you play. It looks like it's a tight fit, but actually I want to mention that I'm going to show the booster pack in a few minutes that's for backers, and you can fit the booster pack, the additional booster pack cards in this plastic bag as well and store them all in the box like this. And we have the last set of diatom tiles, the beautiful shimmery stars, and the water tiles. The water tiles, there is a little bit of a difference. One, we changed the finish so it's a little more matte, and that's to sort of cut back on the potential glare depending on your overhead lighting. We also made them a slightly thinner chipboard, and one of those reasons was we were looking for a little more space in the box because we made the slide boards thicker. But also a benefit of making the water tiles thinner is that For when they cut out these chipboard pieces, it's really a punch out, and the result is you get a slightly rounded edge on one side and a flat edge on the other. And because during the game you're playing either side on your turn to make your matches in the algae pond, it's just slightly noticeable, that pillow edge. And on the skinnier tiles, it is less noticeable. So the fit against it, no matter which way you flip it, is a little nicer with the thinner tiles, and there's less of a glare when you're playing these out in the middle of the table. We also updated the starter tile to give it this center white space to make it more visually distinct when you're first setting up the game and you got to find this starter tile. I'll take these out. And here is the updated insert. It's so nice looking. One side effect of making the edits, this was originally a 0.8 thickness plastic. They ended up increasing the thickness to 0.9 just to make all of these pieces be really firm and rigid. So it's a slightly heavier quality. The water tiles fit right in there. You don't have to be perfect or precious about how you sit them to have them fit cleanly inside. You can put whichever of the Petri dishes you want in here. I like to put the commission cards next, and the player field notes after that. Then put in the lens tool and the ribbon, then the judge cards. I'll just stick my pencils in there. You can do whatever you like. Put this on top with the scoring sheets and drop the other Petri dishes into the box. Then we drop our slide boards in. Again, I'll point out that there's this really nice cutout to let you lift the slide boards, particularly on this top left corner. It goes a little bit deeper, so it's really easy to pull these out without bending them. And the careers rulebook, the pool rulebook. If you got the wooden tiles and you have your shiny water tile bag, which you can use to randomize the water tiles at the start of the game, you can stick that right on top. That's what I usually do. And then we have our beautiful shiny box cover. Let me also show you the bonus booster card pack, a little preview. So this comes in a paper envelope, little tab, it's stickered shut when you get it. And inside are 10 cards. There's, first of all, an extra judge. And we did this a little, so the original judges, right, are almost twice the size. So for this, the way that we did it is we made like a mini version that it says generally what this judge is, and this judge is the Flourish fan. It's looking for sets of 3 diatoms, and then their explanation of what flourishes are and how to score with the scoring example are on these secondary cards. So you sort of can use these 3 cards together to explain this judge. And you may notice that the backs of these cards are upside down. That's my mistake when I set up the file, you know, because these are horizontal and they flip on a different axis than the other cards, so the vertical cards. So we're fixing that for the final print. But there's the additional guest judge. And then we have our additional backer commissions. I won't show those. Some of them are the same or very similar to commissions that we shared during the Kickstarter, but there are a couple of new ones. There's 7 of these, and each also have a little about blurb on the back explaining why they were chosen to be part of this special backer set. So it's a little preview of what you'll be getting in your backer booster pack. And then I'll just show the packaging for the wooden tiles. I showed the tiles before. Nothing is really different about the tiles themselves, but before we had a paper bag that these were shipping in, and it really wasn't very secure. And I prefer to avoid plastic, but I also understand that I don't want to ship multiple copies of this because it was damaged or lost in transit because the packaging wasn't robust enough. So we decided we really needed to have a sealed bag. Looks very nice. This is how you'll be receiving it. So that's Diatoms, very much what you're going to be getting in the mail. What happens next? Well, we have to make a couple of file adjustments. Like I said, we'll be sending those to the manufacturer. Then we're going to hit go on printing next week. It looks like the print will be done in July, and then it'll be maybe 2 months before the games arrive in North America for distribution to all of our US, Canada, South America backers. For those of you in the EU and the UK, we're going to be shipping out from Asia, and you may actually get it a little bit earlier. We'll see. It looks like probably starting in September and October, folks will be getting their games. Cannot wait for you guys to get this in person. They are gorgeous. It's been such an interesting journey to do this physical product design and to iterate on some of these very fine details. I've learned so much, and I'm really proud of the final product. I hope that you love it as well when you open your box. Thank you for your patience in waiting for the sample. We just got this on Wednesday, so we've just had it for about a day and a half before I made this video. I've shown it to a few people locally. We had a couple of play tests with it, and yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. More soon. Bye.